I've been studying Paul's conversion and I've just found something really interesting. So we all know that he starts from Jerusalem and goes on the road to Damascus, where he's struck down blind by a vision of the risen Christ. He's then told to get up and continue on to Damascus, where he'll meet a man called Ananias who will restore his sight. But before Paul gets to Ananias, Jesus must first speak to Ananias and give him directions on how to get to Paul. Jesus tells Ananias, quote, "Get up and go to the street called Straight, and at the house of Judas, look for a man of Tarsus named Saul," end quote. Now, over the years, I would have read this story hundreds of times, but I never realized that Jesus gives Ananias an actual street address. So this sends me down a rabbit hole researching the street called Straight. And in my research, I come across the ancient Greek writer known as Pausanias. He wrote a few decades after Luke, and he describes the geography of different cities throughout the Roman Empire. In one of his writings, he describes the city of Megara in Greece and talks about the layout of the city. He writes, quote, "As you go down from the marketplace, you will see on the right of the street called Straight a sanctuary of Apollo," end quote. Okay, the plot now thickens. How is it that both Megara and Damascus have a street called Straight? That seems like a huge coincidence. Well, as it turns out, almost every city in the Roman Empire most likely had a street called Straight. This would have been a colloquial name for the Decumanus Maximus, a road built by the Romans for each city, which ran from east to west. So let me quickly go through a few examples of the Decumanus Maximus in the Roman Empire. In Syria, we have the city of Palmyra. In Jordan, the city of Gadara. In Turkey, Xanthos. And in the Italian city of Ostia Antica, we actually have a sign for the Decumanus Maximus. Let's now zoom into Israel. But before we continue, if you're enjoying this video so far, please make sure you hit that like button, leave me a comment, and subscribe. These things make a huge difference to the channel. Okay, in the city of Tzipori, we have a fantastic example of the Decumanus. I'll leave a link below to a video where someone actually walks through these ancient streets and points out the Decumanus. So, with all of this historical background, we shouldn't be surprised that in Damascus, we have a Decumanus Maximus, a straight street through the city. The following author makes the connection between the Decumanus Maximus and the street called Straight mentioned in Acts. Quote, "Most scholars maintain that the street called Straight is a reference to the main road in Damascus, the Decumanus, which ran from east to west. This street name is also attested in other cities. Pausanias, for example, mentions the street called Straight in his description of Megara in Greece," end quote. Now, before we continue reading this author, let's quickly raise the issue of historical accuracy. Many will say, and I believe rightly so, that this issue demonstrates the accuracy of Luke. However, there are others, like the author of this book, who views this in the opposite light. As the author continues to write, quote, "It may therefore be enough to postulate that since various cities had a street called Straight, the author could have easily invented the house of Judas at the street called Straight," end quote. So this scholar seems to believe that since every city had this street, Luke felt safe to invent the house of Judas on the street. What are your thoughts on this? Make sure to leave a comment below. To me, this demonstrates that the issue of accuracy or inaccuracy are always in the eye of the beholder. Some will view this as proof of Luke's accuracy, while others, like this author, will think the contrary. It's up to us to make our own decision. Which brings me to the entire point of this channel. My goal is to create a library of videos that objectively analyze the Bible. But as you can imagine, because I try to do this objectively, and I'm never going to tell you everything is right, nor everything is wrong, that does mean I struggle to form an audience because people like to be a part of one of those two groups. So if you think an objective analysis of the Bible is important, please consider becoming a patron today. My patrons allow me to dedicate time to this channel and produce this content. If you join our community, you'll get a bunch of exclusive content, behind the scenes videos, and most importantly, you'll be a part of the team. But if you're not in a position to give, you can still be a part of the team by hitting that like button, leaving a comment, and subscribing. That tells the YouTube algorithm that people are enjoying my content. Thanks for watching until the end, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.